Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win. This camera come in. Or you find a way to lose. So we know in boxing, man, where they drop these contracts, if a fighter doesn't make weight, it is not easy on that fighter, man. It is not easy on them because sometimes it's $1 million per pound if you're over that a fighter loses. Sometimes it's, coming overweight, then they say, hey, we just have a last minute kind of negotiation, and they agree to $50,000 of the fight purse they sacrifice to the opponent, $100,000, $500, $300, right? There are penalties. But in boxing, you don't really see somebody coming overweight like 7 pounds. You know what I'm saying? The fight gets canceled. All right? Now, when you look at MMA and what happened over there with Chimaev, Khamzat, WALUIGI, Chimaev, don't you like WALUIGI? This guy just does not care, man. He missed weight by 7.5 pounds. You're supposed to fight Nate Diaz. Okay? Now, Dana Whyte is always slamming boxing. Boxing's corrupt. The best don't fight the best. The mob runs boxing. And some people think there's some value to what he's saying. But what I know is in boxing, I'm not saying a person can't come to the weigh-in and be over 7.5 pounds, and because of the opponent's financial situation, especially if they're in financial distress, that they won't agree to the fight, especially if they're rewarded handsomely when it comes to a payment, a dollar amount, right? But even if the opponent and the person who missed weight and their managers and promoters can sort out some sort of agreement, you still got the athletic commission that's going to look at that and say, no, that's not okay because he's 7.5 pounds over right now. And then what's this person going to, who's already trying to cut weight, now they're not even going to try. What are they going to come in the ring at, right? So it puts a person at a huge disadvantage. Every pound matters when it comes to combat sports. You let those guys fight and someone gets hurt, then you got a problem. So in boxing, I just think it's near impossible for something like that to fly, okay? Now in the MMA world, now one thing I will say, right? In boxing, I don't think anybody is going to look at their fight card because they have a main event, right? Now, just imagine you have cruiserweights about to fight, okay? And the headliners are, they said it's cruiserweights about to fight. And the guys on the undercard, right? Someone's a heavyweight. And then there's someone else, maybe an opening fight, maybe other cruiserweights. And the headliners are the cruiserweights, and one of them weighs in as a heavyweight. Now they're going to go and look at this. You think in boxing, they're going to look at the card and say, okay, our main event, one of the guys is over. Like 7 pounds. They're not going to go to the undercard and get a heavyweight who's there and say, hey, you want to match up with this guy who's in the main event? And the other heavyweight can't sort it out, then take a cruiserweight from down below and bump him up. Like, they're not going to shuffle the card. You look at what happened over there with the MMA world. This is complete madness. They totally shuffle the entire card to make this fight work. To make the fight work for this guy, Khamzat Chimaev. And he didn't incur any penalty. That's a foul, man. Could you imagine that? Accommodating one person so everyone else suffers? Now, to make matters worse, Dana Whyte says boxing's corrupt, right? What the hell did we just see yesterday in the MMA world with what Dana Whyte did for this guy. Don't get me wrong. The guy is really a beast, right? I think he would have beat Nate Diaz. I think he would have hurt Nate Diaz. Anyone he gets in the ring with, if he wants, he can hurt him. Like, he's vicious. Okay, so I'm not downplaying that. But what I'm saying is there has to be some kind of accountability, right? There has to be a standard. No one's above the standard, right? Everyone gets held to that. And there has to be some kind of penalties. You know, if what? Cancel his fight. Get somebody in there as a replacement. But don't let him fight at all. Hit him in the pocket. They didn't do that. And I just think that's foul. And then you look at what he did. He came out there to touch gloves with his opponent. The opponent put the hand up to touch the gloves. The guy acted like he was going to touch him and immediately shot for his legs and just ragdolled him. Like, poor sportsmanship. I mean, man, it's crazy, man, crazy. I've never seen any, I'll be honest with you, I've never seen anything like it. I'm trying to think, man, when is it that we've seen somebody in boxing miss weight and you want to try to save the fight, but, you know, money goes a long way in boxing, but not where they take that opponent who missed the weight and put him in another slot to fight somebody who was already training, but against a different opponent, but you just match him up with them, and then take that person's opponent and then bubble him up to the main event. So now all the work that all these guys put in, getting ready for a specific opponent, a specific style, now that shit is null and void because they just had to get in there and wing it. Now they're all fighters, so, you know, they train in different styles, but for the most part, they have experience in almost every style, but that still puts a lot of mental stress on you. And I just think it's very unfortunate, man. I just think it's crazy, you know? It's crazy. And for the person we were around talking about, if he would have fought, this guy Chimaev said if he would have fought Nate Diaz, he would have killed him. But in boxing, who really, some guys will come in 2 pounds over, 3 pounds over, because they don't want to sacrifice to lose those last 3 pounds. And that 3 pounds gives them an advantage. But someone that's 7.5, you know, I just don't think that would fly. I just think the fight would get canceled, or that main event card, or they would maybe try to find a last minute replacement. There's always a last minute replacement, but the person who missed the weight just doesn't get that opportunity. So I don't know, man. That guy is highly skillful. He's a bad boy, man. You know, it's just very unfortunate, man. He finishes guys very easily. He's powerful. He's everything you want, but he lacks discipline, man. And when you allow these people, anyone, no matter what it is, a child in school, having a pet animal, or if there's boxing and MMA, if you don't hold people accountable, even a damn animal, you want to potty train them, got to hold them accountable. They're going to just do what they want. And I personally think there's more to it when it comes to Dana Whyte and shuffling the card for this guy. Talking about boxing being corrupt. You know what, in MMA, you know, maybe they do. We do get the fights in MMA that we want to see at the right time because you got Dana Whyte over there controlling it all. But at the end of the day, what happened yesterday tells me that, you know what, maybe there's some corruption in MMA. We want to sit there, man, you know, and bad talk boxing. We'll accept that. We know there's some shit going on. There's stuff that happens, no doubt about it. I've talked about it in other videos. It's like some legit concerns. At the same time, I've never seen anything quite like that. Like in your face, and where a guy like Dana Whyte has nothing really to say except, yeah, it's unacceptable. But you shuffle the card and make sure that you try to explain and walk everybody through what's going on, put a little money in their hands, and say, all right, go on out there and get your ass kicked. You know, I just think it's a foul. That's what I feel, man. But leave your 2 cents, especially for those of you who weren't aware of what happened, you know, but now you know. And the reason I'm covering it because it's a hood champion boxing and sports. Although I'm 100% boxing, I felt the need to cover it because of how much Dana Whyte talks about boxing's corrupt. It's a horrible sport. Boxing's dying. We don't get the fights we want. And then he's talking about Zuffa boxing, starting into boxing. But then last night, what he comes and does, I've honestly, now if there's someone out there off the top of your head, post it in the comments. I've never seen an entire card get shuffled, and the guys who are on the card get moved into different slots so the card can go on. And the main event that everybody paid to come see, they don't get to see. And that person who caused the whole card to get shuffled doesn't get penalized or dropped from the card. They just get put in a different slot, still get paid. They're just not entitled to bonuses, which is just, who cares? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, like and subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, shout out to all the veterans. Appreciate everyone's support. Yo, I love boxing. I respect MMA. MMA is a tough sport. But we got to, if this is the shit that Dana White's gonna do, he gotta, remain a little bit reticent when it comes to talking about boxing and stuff going on in boxing, because that stuff that happened last night. I'm not saying there's some stuff that may happen under the table or behind closed doors, but they don't put it in your face like that. And that to me is just madness. That being said, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.